I will try to answer your question really shortly, because I guess this short answer is that, of course, only when tenants are allowed to play their central role in the built environment they live in, the transition, the green transition can be really maximized and can be really just and fair. So I would like to make this 2-3 minutes really as concrete as possible. So, for example, one of the winners of the last edition of the European Responsible Housing Awards, which is a project that IUT co-organizes, and includes actually 5 categories. One of these is on energy transition. Another one is on community participation. So one of the winners was able to actively integrate tenants in the strategic development of the city of Aalborg in Denmark. So tenants were sort of made into collaborators with local businesses, association, municipality, and this led to actually great results. So, for example, green areas and biodiversity increase. There was also a 50% reduction in energy consumption after the renovation. Many social services were developed close by to the housing units, and there were also different exceptional social demographic results. So, of course, I can't go into the details, but I invite everyone to have a look at the handbook of these awards, of this edition of the awards, because it's really full of good practices on how to make housing more inclusive, more affordable, and how to actively integrate tenants into renovation projects and the green transition. So maybe I can share the links later in the chat. So tenants' participation, of course, should be mandatory in renovations, but for our concerns, instead, the second half of the question, so what should change? I would like to briefly make 3 points. So first of all, the fact that the principle of housing cost neutrality, so the principle according to which any increase in rent should be fully balanced by energy savings. This principle must be legally implemented in order to avoid renovictions, in order to avoid gentrification, and some good practices luckily already come, for example, from the Netherlands or from Austria. But another concrete example, because I really want to be as concrete as possible to make sure we all understand that this is possible. In Sweden, there is the system of gross rent. So in Sweden, rent already includes hot water charges and also heating charges in the rent. And this is an incentive for the lender to make investments. So the second point I would like to raise is that renovictions must be prevented. So when we talk about renovictions, we mean the issue of being evicted after the renovation is done. Long-term solutions are needed, and ban on renoviction must be implemented. So this is possible. It was already done in Nova Scotia in Canada during the pandemic. But what's really important is that these kind of measures are sustained and maintained over time. And lastly, energy inefficient buildings and unhealthy buildings, of course, must be gradually phased out from the rental markets. Also this can be done, and it's being already implemented in Scotland. So in Scotland, there are some housing units that first are affected by rent reductions, and then in the long term, they will be banned from the market if they do not fulfill like minimum energy requirements. I think these are the 3 main things that must change in order also to consider housing as a human right. Yeah, I guess like to wrap up. So in short, I guess that to keep tenants' right at the forefront, it is really crucial to finance housing cost neutral models, both in the social and the public sector, but with the rent caps and with the legally enshrined security of tenure.